Hi, it's been years. I don't even want to count. Um, but if you have ever gone through, or if you remember this channel, or if you just go through the channel, you will see that this used to be a reaction channel. Um, I think my old videos are still up. I think, regardless, this used to be a reaction channel, and recently I watched two videos that une- unexpectedly, there we go, inspired me to come back to making videos. Um, if you saw the title, you know that the videos are from Chris Fidelis. They have just a plethora of videos only on ATs, and I've wanted to make content surrounding or involving ATs for like the longest while. But I just never knew what I was supposed to do. I kept thinking that I might need to do unboxings and concerts and them something that, but like I don't have money like that. You see me? So yeah, I don't know. Watching, I think it was her attachment style video. I don't remember, but watching the Hyung Line and the Matne Line videos, yeah, I don't need to talk about. I don't need to be at a concert. Sorry, I don't need to spend money essentially to talk about the boys. Um, so that was great to confirm. It's not like I don't know this, but sometimes the universe needs to slap you in the back of your head, and I was thoroughly slapped. Anyway, um, I had stopped doing reaction content, like I said, for years now, and I didn't want, I don't know, I just didn't want to keep the name anymore since in my head I was just done with videos because I couldn't make videos like physically, or at least in terms of hardware, I was unable to make videos. So I was like, let me just not even think about it. Still can't, still dealing with hardware issues. I need a new laptop. But anyways, so because I didn't think I was gonna come back to making videos for a while, I changed the name of my channel to Hand Nip Size from I think it's the one of the holiday DVDs that they have. A clip that was circulating a lot around that time was San saying hand nib size to Woo and I just thought that was the cutest thing. I at that time I still am a big Wusan supporter. But at that time, like that clip just kept coming up, and I was just like, "What do I want to call this?" I was like, "Hand nib size." This is yeah, hand nib size, whatever. So in keeping with that, I'm gonna try and make bite-sized videos. I don't know what that's gonna look like. Right now, I'm thinking 10-minute videos, and that should get me that should be enough, right? Yeah, I think so too. So while I have you, I would like to hopefully briefly tell you about how I ended up becoming an ATINY. So, as I mentioned, been doing reactions for a while, or I did reactions for a while way back in the day. I think my reaction to Pirate King and Treasure was when I was doing it with my sister, so that's definitely not up. But I was also in a point where I was refusing to get into groups because I didn't want to be disappointed. I didn't want to again, a skewed vision or a skewed understanding of what it meant to get into to be a fan of these groups is what I was working with, and I didn't have the money to be the sort of fan that I thought I would have needed to be. But also I was interested in too many groups to even choose one. A casual general K-pop fan, if you will. So I wasn't really planning on getting into any one group or even two groups or anything like that. And it didn't help that the one group that I did choose to like try a thing with hadn't made an album in years, even at the point of, was it years? But would eventually go on to not make an album in years, and they were very inconsistent anyways. So none of that helped, yeah? Then we fast forward to 2021. Of course, I probably did listen to a few more of their songs, but I wasn't actively seeking out their stuff if I ever got into that. But like I said, 2021 and Kingdom Legendary War specifically, obviously. The thing about that show is that I was interested in, or a casual fan of almost all the groups. The boys I knew from the previous season, of course. SF9, I kind of knew about them, but I don't think I really took in any of their music until Legendary War. And then you have B2B, love them niggas down. Really great vocalist group. Who else was there? Icon, like Precious Babies that I just want to do well. So I was obviously, Stray Kids is another group that I at the time had heard a few other songs, but I kind of just knew of them. And then there's ATs who, for all intents and purposes, fell into the same camp as Stray Kids, where it's just like I know of their music, I'm not 100% like privy to everything about them. However, I kept during the competition looking forward to their music. I kept looking for, or rather, the performances and how they changed their own songs and all of that stuff to fit the theme, the challenge for each week. I also think that I don't know what the word is, part of my excitement to see them was the fact that they were keeping true to the whole pirate concept, their outside concept, and I thought that was cool. And as the show progressed, I found myself looking forward to them and cheering them on. I was disappointed when they lost, or didn't come in the place that I thought they would have come in. Yeah, I was happy for when they did get, to a nice place, whatever. I was excited to see like I said, excited to see their performances, but like what they would come up with. Like I wanted to see what they were gonna come up with, and they came up with great stuff every single time, if you ask me. I usually don't care, right? But I try to watch a couple of their performance videos to get them more points every now and again. And or I just kept watching their performance videos even after the show was done, you know? So really and truly, I think I fell in love around Legendary War, but I was still refusing to accept it essentially. And then after Legendary War finished, at some point between when it was done, which I think is about July-ish, and maybe the end of September. I don't think it's the end of September. I think maybe August was the sweet spot when this actually happened. But I was, because I was just consuming their content, I was watching all these crack videos slash compilation videos. I was watching, I think at that point I started watching their vlog stuff. I was watching, gosh, I don't remember. I was watching so many things from them. Of course, it's the music videos for songs and just the songs in general as well I was listening to. And at some point in that time, I was like, should I just give in? And eventually I did give in. And I know it's before October because I was calling myself an ATINY during both their debut celebrations and their, what's that called? And the ATINY Day celebrations. Right, my bad. So I was like shyly saying, oh, maybe I am an ATINY. As a little more accepting of the fact that probably I'm a fan of these guys, but I was still shy about it. And then close to the end of the year, I believe, I joined a whole Discord group and did a bag of things, me do. But now, you know, I've come down from the high. I'm still at ATINY, still, following, making sure the boys are doing well. Still care about them as a group, as musicians. However, I am not trying to follow them as heavily as one time, which is, you know, totally fine. I still consume a lot of content with them in it and whatnot. Yeah, the only thing that I wish I could do that I have not been able to do is buy more albums. I literally have one album from the entire catalog. I've only been able to buy one album, which I am not upset about. But I'd love to eventually buy their entire catalog at some point. So yeah, and some of their merch would have been nice to have one time, but of course the merch gone now, and I still don't have enough money to pay for that. But again, I'm okay with what I can do. Like, I've come to the point of being okay with what I am able to do as a fan. And that is just the long and short of it. So, that is my introduction to this channel as well as how I became an ATINY. Yeah, I hate that.